Well, hello and welcome to the Peanut Butter and Pickle Podcast.
What's up?
I am Kate, and I like to sing talk. And I'm married to you, and you hate it.
Yeah,
I've been doing it for days because I saw Wicked.
you did. Oh, I know.
It was amazing.
I'm glad you had a good time. I just don't like to be sing-talked.
Yeah, and I really struggled
Post-Broadway show.
because your dad's beautiful, words he wrote in my birthday card were so much like a line from the musical that I was struggling. I was just biting my lip
so
till it bled
disrespectful
to just not sing the
To
lyrics.
sing my
the
birthday
table.
card in my face. Such a lack of gratitude for a gift.
No, it's not a lack of gratitude. It's an overflowing joy and excitement for life and musical theater.
Yeah. I have a confession to make.
Okay.
I'm a redneck.
No, you're not.
No,
you tried really hard.
Literally.
Oh, yeah, you are literally.
I'm literally a redneck. I looked at it a couple days ago and laughed.
Dude.
And then you saw me.
Dude, you took your shirt off yesterday.
Like, you're a redneck.
And I was like, oh my gosh, your neck.
Mm-hmm.
It was so,
Just been outside a lot.
Shocking.
Just doing things in a t-shirt, but haven't got a lot of pool time, a lot of tan time.
It's literally like someone painted your neck
tan, but yeah,
with red paint and the rest of your body with white paint.
Actually am a redneck.
You literally are.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not a roughneck.
I'm not a roughneck.
I've heard that and I don't know what it means.
But I'm not that.
No.
I don't know. I don't know what it is either. I was almost a redneck for one small sliver in my life. I have redneck roots. Like I grew up
in the country,
like shooting guns in the cornfield, fishing, catching stuff on fire in the woods alone. It was amazing. So there was the seed was planted for the redneck.
Yes.
And we did have a house in the middle of nowhere in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool spot.
It was cool. And we kind of roughed our way through some home projects.
I'm not handy.
You bought a bunch of camo.
But I built stuff. I built a workbench. It was actually pretty legit in my shed.
Yeah.
We built a fence. And I was very proud of the 2 wooden gates that I built.
Mm-hmm.
No YouTube, just, measuring and thinking it through.
Mm-hmm.
It was decent. Could have been better.
It worked.
It worked. Should have put concrete in the post. It shifted a little bit and had to get creative.
It's okay.
But a buddy gave me a truck. And it was a man's truck. It was awesome.
And yet I drove that truck so frequently.
It was awesome.
Because the rule was, since that truck didn't have air conditioning, whoever was driving Melody around got to drive the car with AC.
Yeah, extended cab.
Yeah.
Dodge
Ram. It did
Ram.
feel pretty BA.
1999.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Pre-millennium.
All black, extended cab, 4x4.
It was
slightly raised.
So cushy.
What was the engine?
I don't know.
5.9. It wasn't diesel. It was V8. 5.9, 6.2.
The people are riveted right now.
Well, no. There's iterations. Like I had another Dodge Ram 5.7 liter Hemi.
Right.
This I believe was a 5.9 or 6. It was a giant.
Riveted.
Oh, but the bros will care if I'm getting the engine right. But anyway, I started.
What a long way you've come from trucks.
I bought camo.
You did because you went. What did you do? You went wolf hunting.
No, it wasn't that
Didn't
cool.
you do that?
Coyote hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was a organic, nice farm out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner said, the coyotes are menaces. They are coming in and they're eating livestock, and he couldn't do anything to stop him. So
you guys didn't really stay up all night,
he asked us. We were out there for really late. Yeah, I mean, they come out at night. So we got all posted up, and I had I had a 30-06, way too powerful. You don't need that for a coyote, but I was ready to tear them apart. And we were out there for so long, and they are smart because the guy said, they're here every night, and you guys were here and they didn't come.
Really?
Whether it's the scent, we were...
Three stinky guys all up in a tree?
We were so camoed up. I had a very large doe. Melody, do you know what a doe is?
It's a female deer.
Okay, just checking.
And a ray is a drop of golden
sun.
That's
you
what I
start
was
singing,
thinking.
talking to me. I set it up.
I said it.
I just said it. I set it up. But I was so camoed and so quiet and so still hunting for coyotes.
Right.
That a doe just walked right in front of me.
Well, why didn't I get any venison brought home?
It was not in season. It is not legal to...
it was illegal.
Yeah, and you have to have tags and you just can't start killing deer.
That's too bad.
and it was not rifle season. So anyway, I'm sorry to bore you checking your Apple Watch in the middle of the podcast.
Whoops.
I'm sorry.
It was my sister-in-law.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Listen, we've been chit-chatting.
I'm sharing my failed hunting stories when I used to be a redneck. But,
well,
no.
I didn't know if it was somebody who's hanging out waiting for us.
Oh, please go make a call if you need this stuff out.
I don't need to make a
Okay.
call. I just made a suggestion about how nice some
I just
sheets are.
watched a reel about
What?
Apple Watch people, about how annoying they are to talk to now. And it's so bad.
I used to
They're just
hate
like,
on
yeah,
that.
man, that's crazy. And they'll like tap it, and then they're like, just like their eyes slowly go down to peak, and like, oh man, that's wild. And they start like turning the little dial.
For sure.
It is the worst, because for my generation, when you do this, look, for those of you who are
like,
just listening,
we're wasting my time.
yeah, when you raise your wrist to look down, you're like, oh gosh, what time is it? Are we still talking? We got to get out of here.
Can I leave yet?
So it feels the same now when people do it to check their text.
I'm not gonna lie. I do that a lot.
I know you do that a lot.
I know you do that a lot. Everybody who has one. That's why I do not have a watch.
Well, I thought it was our little kid who's hanging out watching a movie, and I thought maybe she was texting me.
Oh, well,
so
that's
you know,
fair.
it's not a big deal.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
But you were, okay, I'm going to give you a hard time. You
Please.
were one decal away from being like the ultimate redneck.
Oh, sorry. That's where I was trying to land that story.
That, I'm going to help you land it.
Yeah.
Come on down that runway, bud.
I was ready.
Free and clear.
That would have been it, though. I never would have came back from
Tell
that.
the people about the decal.
Well, I had the truck. I lived in the country. I had the camo. And I think just like, I don't sing talk or have music play in my head, but Proud to Be an American started to like play in my head. And I was like, I think I
soundtrack to life.
I think I needed an American Eagle on the back of my truck, screaming in front of an American flag. And
yeah. And then the one you showed me, you were so excited, had all of the seals of the different branches of the U.S. military, like encircling the eagle. And he's like cawing with his mouth wide open.
It was going to be awesome.
Feathers are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was going to be so cool.
I put the kibosh on
said,
that
honey,
one.
You're about to step into a territory you don't belong into. And you put,
I just feel like you're just appropriating the culture of like,
I was becoming more
I'm
than
a good old boy from the hill country, and it's just not who you and I are.
No. Well, we were in it. The little pocket we were at was, if we would have remained there and I owned property, we had acres of woods in the like, I could have become that.
We could have been so different.
And there was a simplicity to that of
really
not hearing the traffic, of being out at night. The stars out there were incredible.
The stars.
And we built a fire pit.
Yeah.
And just to sit out there at night and watch the stars and have it just be quiet, and no neighbors in the back. There was one neighbor like in front of our house. On the sides, in the back, there was nothing.
Yeah.
So you just felt just the wild. She was a great neighbor. So I yearn for the wild.
You yearn for the wild, like the kids.
Yearn for the mines.
Kids yearn for the mines.
What is that from again?
Minecraft.
Oh,
bro, come on.
The children yearn for the mines. What I loved about that backyard was that Melody was so imaginative and innocent, and she was just a little kid. That's like the first house we bought. And she loved coming home to Indiana to see her family here. And she thought she could yell.
We already told the story on this podcast.
No, we did not.
I promise.
Never mind.
This is what happens when you do 20 podcasts. I promise.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Maybe just sum it up in case we didn't.
Well, listen, if you didn't catch the story before, she would yell, "Hi, Grandpa," from the backyard because she thought he could hear her all the way in Indiana. It was really cute.
I have a video of it. We should post it at some point. It's very good. So I was looking at a couple of videos that were very funny, and people talking about how people age through the years. And I'm sure that everyone has seen this, that they'll say like, here is a 25-year-old from 19 like
oh yeah,
50,
and they look like they're 55.
and here's one from today, and they look like children.
Yeah.
And it's not a few, like there are so many photos, and a lot of people are like, well, it's the hairstyle. Well, it's the outfit. Well, it's the old photo and the lighting.
Yeah.
But it's more than that, because there's so much evidence. Like they look chiseled and old. And the only thing, like, I just want your opinion on this, but I think this is true. Well, I think there's two things at play. I think number one, why people look younger and you see 40-year-olds and they don't look like they're 90
Mhm.
is we're one of the first generations that actually drank water on a consistent basis. I'm serious. When
Our
I was
water
a
wasn't
little
filled with
kid, I
cholera.
did not drink water, and I don't remember seeing friends really drink.
You didn't drink water?
I just don't remember seeing. Well, there
That's
was no bottled water. Think about the 80s and 90s. People didn't. Bottled water was not a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the bottled water maybe didn't exist, but it wasn't like everybody has bottled water. You go anywhere and have like that wasn't a thing.
No, you're right. Because when I was in the Girl Scouts, I had legit canteens. Like anytime I went to Girl Scout camp, I had the rounded with a little spigot top thing, and that was my water. Was the canteen. So like I didn't take. And then when I was in high school, it was the Nalgene bottle, and you put all your stickers on it.
Well, the hydration thing was 2000s. That was
right. But I'm just saying, like before that,
are you hydrated?
I think
need to
it was
hydrate.
like canteens.
I don't know.
And then before that, it was like wineskins. That's all you
I'm
got.
going to have to go back that far back.
You could a plastic canteen, a metal canteen, a wineskin.
I think you were just dehydrated until you ended up at the next point.
Well, I think
like
that's
whatever between point A and B is. Like if you had to go to, like run errands or go to the mall, like you just didn't drink water. I think you would go like, oh, let me go buy a soda, but you weren't. There was no hydration. I think you had to be at someone's house and someone's like, hey, would you like some water?
Right.
And then there was no fancy water. There's no filters. It was just you walked to the sink and you received city or stinky well water.
That is
and
the truth.
You just had to drink it. And that's the way it was. But even like as a kid in the summertime, I don't think like going to a friend's house, it was like, hey, there's Kool-Aid, there's lemonade.
Kool-Aid for sure.
There's no hydration for the children.
That was the hydration.
Yeah. So when I was very little, like the hydration ramped up, and I was a generation legit, maybe some of the last that you would drink out of the water hose. Like you'd wait until you're like, oh my body needs water. And you drink the hose water, had a very distinct, like metallic
taste
and
from the
rubbery,
hose.
Flavor that wasn't bad. Cause on a hot day,
and
it was cool. Like, man, hose water was really good. So
out of a well.
I think, so I think that was the biggest change of like people back in the day versus why so many people look healthier and younger now, have better skin. I think people just didn't drink water.
I could totally see that. And I could nerd out on this topic for
especially
ages.
Men. I think it was like black coffee, cigarettes, because everyone smoked, and whiskey.
I think you're right. And as I was saying, we love interrupting each other. We do it to each other all the time. And there's genuinely, for those listening, no hard feelings, because this is just what we do.
And it's what kind of marriage is.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
So I could nerd out about this forever because in the 20th century, all the sodas were coming around and there was literally Coke in Coca-Cola and there was lithium in 7-Up and Sprite.
Cocaine? When you say Coke? Yeah.
Cocaine and Coke. Lithium was in Sprite. You would go to the pharmacy and you would have the soda jerk mix up your, basically like mix you an elixir, and that was your soda. But like, super fun fact, and I'm nerding out so much, is Jon Snow. What does Jon Snow have to do with drinking water? Just throw it out a guess. Anybody know? Anybody? There's one nerd yelling out at their headphones. The father of epidemiology. That is the study of how disease spreads. Jon Snow was an actual real-life person. I know I'm boring you to death. This is like the equivalent of you talking about your engines.
I think we've bored each other.
But there was an outbreak, I think, of cholera in England, and it was because of this one well. And people were dying like crazy because they were going to the well to drink water and make their food, and he figured out what it was. And so I think a lot of times, like, you look at ancient Egypt, they built those pyramids on beer, bud. They didn't build that on water, the water of the Nile, because that stuff wasn't clean. They would like make mead and beer.
Oh, for sure.
And like, I think
wine.
I think based on the advertisements from like the 50s and 60s, I think those people, adults, drank a lot of like vodka, gin, with a side of cigarette. I mean, that's all that they had. And spray cheese.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I think the TV dinner became massive. So it was like the efficiency and like ease of everything. And they're like, here, this doctor says 9 out of 10 doctors be like, hey, have a couple gins every night. Won't do anything to your liver. But no, you're right. Our people are like, listen, water is the key.
I think water's the key. I think
Yeah.
that is it. My other theory, less popular.
Okay. It's aliens.
Well, there used to be an old phrase that I believe to be true that says, you are what you eat.
Sure.
So when I look back on the people who are rapidly aging in their, 1950s, 60s, they ate highly real perishable food.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it would go bad quickly.
Oh.
Our new generation, there's preservatives in everything. And what do preservatives do to food?
They keep it looking good for longer.
They keep it looking good and lasting longer. So I think what we have done, and I think why people look so much younger versus people before, is the majority of our diet is highly processed food. You are what you eat. I think we are eating so much of those foods that it's basically like our bodies were pickled.
Yeah.
We have like formaldehyde on the inside of us, and it's just like keeping us where it's at, because
from the Cinnamon Toast Crunch,
if you eat all of that
look at the
food,
ingredients,
then that has preservatives. Like, how would a little bit of that? How would you not be preserved a little bit? This is my scientific.
Has Mel taken a nice swig of some
take.
Coke Zero?
This is my hot take. And people like before, like if you left food out for a couple of days, it would go bad, right?
So wait,
so I think people ate all that food,
and it's going to be the aging movement.
They're going to get old. Yeah,
they're going to get old.
People back in the day, they'd eat fresh food that would go bad if you left it out, and they go bad quicker. And we eat preservatives, and we are preserved.
Like the McDonald's burger versus just a normal burger.
Yeah, we are.
I almost spit this drink out.
We are the shelf-stable generation.
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
And we have war to thank for it.
Yeah.
That's how they got like shelf-stable food. They did experiments on how to get shelf-stable food to soldiers at war.
And everyone's talking about how all these preservatives are like killing us quicker and they're so unhealthy. Hey, maybe. Or we're all going to live to be 100 and have great skin.
Yeah, Brian Johnson, whatever. He doesn't need to do anything except eat regular food and drink water.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's that weird guy who injected his son's blood.
We don't have to talk about that guy. He's weirdo.
He's weird.
There's some weird stuff in there.
So
strange. Thank you on that.
Ugh. Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I think it's also dedicate your whole life to something more noble than just preserving your own life.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and
like it's the ultimate form of selfishness. You could put all of that
effort into longevity and living forever and still get hit by a bus.
For sure.
Or go down on a plane. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, really?
Think about Final Destination, all the ways.
There's a million ways to go.
There's a million ways. And he could just go. And he'll have spent millions of dollars on trying to be an 18-year-old.
I hate to sing talk, but dumb ways to die.
That's right, girl. Hey, so I am really excited because it's 4th of July this coming week, like within the next 10 days.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about, because I love movies, what are like the highest grossing box office releases from 4th of July over the years? / what do you consider to be some of the best 4th of July movies?
Well, I think if you want to go to the biggest blockbuster around there, my brain goes to Independence Day. Will Smith, when he was like cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you be surprised to learn that Independence Day is not on the highest grossing blockbuster film releases for Independence Day? If you go to top 10, it is not one of them.
Wow. Okay.
Just kidding. It's number 8.
Oh, come on, dude.
Okay. What do you think are some of the ones that are on the list? These are all movies that were released 4th of July. And so like America said, this is the movie I want to see on 4th of July holiday.
Well, I would think kind of patriotic movies. I would lean towards probably war movies. Am I far off on that?
Dude, you're so far off. I'm going to help you out a little bit here.
Man.
Okay. The top 5 include 3 Spider-Man movies.
Oh, I would, yeah. If I had 100 guesses, I wouldn't have picked Spider-Man.
If you had a million guesses, you wouldn't pick number 1 either. Number 1 highest grossing movie for the 4th of July is Transformers from 2007.
Okay.
Grossed $29 million in its opening day.
All right.
Transformers with Shia LaBeouf.
The first one?
Yeah.
I think that was pretty good.
It was okay. Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man 2, Toby G, and The Amazing Spider-Man. So all 3 Spider-Mans made it to the top 5. I know, which makes me happy.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite Spider-Man?
Probably Tom Holland, the new guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I like him. I like his personality.
He's the
I think
most endearing.
Yeah. My least favorite was probably
Andy G.
Who?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
He was not it.
Yeah.
He's like poetic and like
a touch emo.
Lovely.
A little bit.
And just not even emo.
I like
feel
a
like
quirky,
he's just like,
dorky, fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Andrew Garfield is too much of like, he owns a flower shop.
Okay.
And like knows your name and thinks you remind him of a blue iris, and then he tells you a poem about it. Like,
he's a slick talking barista at a really overpriced coffee shop.
He is. And he's lovely. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not a Spider-Man vibe.
Yeah.
And Tobey Maguire, he's great too.
He's he's classic.
But Will Smith's coming in hot, taking in the lower 5. So Hancock is number 6, and I don't even know what that is. It's like a Superman movie with Will Smith.
I watched
where he was like,
it wasn't memorable.
No. And then Independence Day made it to number 8.
He has 5?
What?
You said he has 5 different movies on that list?
No, he's holding court on the lower half of the list.
Oh,
the bottom 5.
I thought you meant he had all 5.
No, Hancock, Independence Day, Men in Black 2. So not even Men in Black 1, which like, how is that possible? Transformers, Dark of the Moon. I'd never heard of that. And then the last one, this is really cute. Despicable Me, number 2, and The Rise of Gru are both on the list, and they're the best movies. But I definitely don't think that they're Independence Day movies.
I'm very surprised that there isn't like more like patriotic.
Dude, The Patriot. Mel Gibson.
Yeah, how is that not
a 4th of July movie?
Yeah, we need some banger like 4th of July.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned it.
From Britain type movies to really celebrate.
Like Hamilton.
Well.
No, I just got onto a new app called Letterboxd because I love movies so much. And I was looking through the lists of like top Independence Day movies. And do you know what movie I was really shocked to see was on everybody's list?
What's that?
Jaws.
That's a great one.
But does it take place on 4th of July weekend? Is that when it all starts happening? Because how is it a 4th of July movie?
I know the beach is incredibly packed, so that would make sense. And it's summer, the beach is packed.
Yeah. Everybody also says
see that.
The Sandlot.
Great film.
Yeah.
Mel, have you watched The Sandlot?
Not yet. Is that the one with Smalls?
Yeah.
And then how can you forget Top Gun Maverick, and Born on the 4th of July. Those are good movies.
They are.
Yeah. But I love a good alien fight movie like Independence Day. And it reminded me that we saw a UFO on my birthday a couple years back.
We did.
Yeah. And it's kind of like aliens, even though it definitely wasn't aliens.
And when we say UFO, we're not saying we saw aliens. We saw,
we're not
to the
saying
definition, a unidentified, didn't know what it was, didn't make sense, flying, it was in the sky, some form of an object. So UFO, not...
Total
Yeah.
Quintessential UFO.
Yeah.
Zigzagging around, lighting up all crazy, being weird.
Yeah. I can't believe in aliens until I see proof. But my mind was blown with what I watched, what I witnessed.
Same.
It was very unexplained. And we
probably
both saw
just like
at
a
the
really
same time.
fancy government drone because we lived near a government facility.
Probably just something that I still don't understand. I mean, definitely unmanned because a person could not travel at that speed. You'd tear you apart. So
yeah. And it was so cool because it was like so standard, like UFO sighting, just driving dark, late in the night. We'd had a great time, had dinner, coming back, and you just see the fun zippy around. And we're like, did we just see what we think we saw?
Yeah.
What was that? It had to have been a drone because it was really before we knew what drones were. So I don't know that we would have even thought it was a drone.
Incredibly bright.
So
I mean, it lit
bright.
up the sky. Well, let's just say it because it's not a big deal.
No, it's not a big deal.
I just don't like to...
You're a good storyteller.
When I witness these things, I have to think, if I ever shared this with someone, are they going to think I'm crazy? So we're crazy. Let's just get it out. We're
crazy.
crazy, but this is what we witnessed. And I had always hoped I would see, because you hear people see stuff, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, buddy. Like,
Dude,
there's a little bit of you that are like,
Growing up, my
Yeah,
neighbor swore
okay.
up and down. They're like, I saw an alien spaceship land in my yard. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, bud.
Everyone's got a story. I
Mhm.
always wanted one and just assumed it wasn't going to happen. Because most people, I don't think,
See stuff like
most
that.
people don't, but there's
No.
plenty of stories. We're driving back. It's in the evening. The sun is going down. It's like kind of almost dark. So
Yeah.
enough you could see, but it wasn't like pitch black. It was like
Right.
late evening. You said it was your birthday, so it would have been in June. Yeah. So again, it gets dark really late.
Mhm.
Driving back, and open fields where we lived, so there was no buildings or any other distractions. So you could see for miles. And we looked out. It was a really I thought it was a shooting star.
I did too.
It was so bright.
Yeah.
We were like, oh my gosh, look at that. It was very quick. And it I think it
traveled across the sky quickly
I'm trying to think if it blinked
and
first.
stopped.
Or if it blinked first to get our attention. It just kind of, it was like blinking at us, but
Hey,
enough to
Joe.
we're like, what is that? Blinking. And then it covered what I would only imagine to be, probably 5 to 10 miles. Because it's just open country.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing.
and
We
it
all
was-
see planes in the sky. You
Yeah.
know how fast/slow a plane will just go through the sky.
even if they're going,
and they're
several
going like
hundred miles an
whatever,
hour, yeah.
500 miles an hour. I
Mhm.
don't know. But this was like, whoop.
bright
instantaneous.
miles just from there, kind of blinking. And then it just shot across the sky.
Yeah.
Blinked a few more times, and then it went straight down to the ground,
Yep.
which was really trippy.
Behind the trees a little bit.
But there was no like, there. We saw what we saw. We saw at the same time.
Yeah.
Two like sober-minded, looking straight ahead, watching the same thing. It just shot
Mhm.
across for miles. So bright. It looked like, it was like a sun. It was like
It was
so bright.
So bright.
Which is why it's so hard to be like, maybe that was a drone, but how in the world? Because it was far enough away for that level of brightness didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, oh, that was because I've seen other really sweet, meteorites, shooting star, whatever,
Mhm.
that tear through the sky, and they're beautiful and they're really, really cool
Yeah.
looking. This blinked, moved, stopped, slowly went. It was very clear it wasn't.
Yeah.
And even the angle of the trajectory, it wasn't like coming at any form of angle falling. It was going straight across. Miles, stopped, blinked a few times, and then it went straight down to where we were like, you could see where it landed. Like, we have to go drive there.
You know
so
what
we
it probably was?
We drove a few miles.
We did.
Towards where it was
We're
at.
like, oh my gosh.
And looked everywhere and just saw nothing.
It was probably a test bot that Jeff Bezos was like, I need to see if my little Amazon drop shippers will work.
Yeah.
And they have to have good flashlights to not hit trees in the night, because there was probably some little Geek Squad fella in
That's
an
right.
office somewhere driving it around,
Mhm.
delivering cat food to a little old lady in the country.
If I had to guess, not aliens. Here's what, because
No, not aliens.
anytime I've thought about that, I'm like, that was really, really crazy and hard to explain.
Yeah.
How anything could move instantaneous, multiple miles. Again, if it was a person, it would rip you apart. Like the G's, you just couldn't do that. So let's say it's unmanned. What I think it could have been is, because we were close to a military site.
Oh, heck yeah.
What I think it could have been is a test drone of advancement that we couldn't even imagine, that's not released to the public. And what I think is it was malfunctioning, because they're not going to call attention and bright lights in the sky to where any Joe Schmo like us can point at it or get your camera. So I think it was supposed to be quick stealth in the dark reconnaissance. Again, just a test.
Just test pilot.
And I think something was malfunctioning, because that's why it was blinking off and on. And it was behaving erratically. That's why it was going really fast. And I think that if it was being controlled or somebody was controlling it, they just needed to get it down. I think that's why it just went to the ground.
You know what? That's a really good point.
That's the only thing
Malfunctioning.
that makes sense of why it would be so bright, so distracting, or it's aliens.
Or it's aliens.
What if things like that are just flying around all the time, covering the sky, but we would never know because they're actually working?
You wouldn't see it.
What if they actually are the sky?
I wanted to say, the sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Yeah. So to take us off the subject of aliens, so we don't look super crazy,
We're not crazy. We just saw
we're just
like a
explaining
test like a test dummy from
we don't know
an
anything.
Air Force
We're
base.
just explaining what we witnessed.
Probably.
And it was unidentified flying object or light or whatever.
Right.
But I do feel like I need to give because this is basically a food podcast, give a little PSA on the steak sandwich that I created from scratch. Because I feel like people
No. You need me to give the PSA. Let me.
Do you know how I make it?
First of all, the steak sandwich, Joe comes home the other day and he is just jazzed. And he is like, oh my gosh, I have the best idea for this new sandwich. And nothing Joe's ever made tastes bad. So I was...
Sure, I made bad food.
I'm here for it. I can't recall any bad food you've ever made. It's always delicious. So anyway, you're all jazzed. You got these new ingredients. You're like, I'm going to make you a sandwich. And I'm just sitting there like, say more. I gotcha. So he brings me this amazing toasted sourdough, thinly cut steak, melted cheese, some kind of delicious orangey, tangy sauce I've never had before. Secret sauce. We'll talk more about that in a second. And there was this like maybe caramelized onion, but it didn't taste like regular onion. And I bit into this thing and it was like the Ratatouille scene where the flavor of strawberry and cheese just exploded into fireworks in their brain. And it was just amazing.
It's pretty incredible.
And you've made them 3 more times and you've kind of tweaked your techniques and recipe and tried different cheeses and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell the people how you make it.
I want people to try this because I don't know that you're going to find it. And I can tell you how I do it. I don't follow recipes or ingredients, or I can't give you like step by step, but I can tell you how I do it. And then you can experiment at home.
Right.
Make your husband, make your wife, make your family very, very happy. I start by reverse searing a filet. If you've never tried reverse searing, just give it a shot. I use a smoker and a cast iron to do said mixture. Take a filet mignon, you put some coarse kosher salt on it, let it set out for maybe 20 minutes, just get it to room temperature. Then I put it on my smoker, but you can use a normal grill. You could use an oven if you want. That's fine. The key is low temp. I do 250. Baby. Some people do 225. I do 250. I feel like it renders the fat just a little bit better at slightly higher temperature. So just a salted filet on the smoker, 250 degrees, about halfway through, I give it a flip. What I'm doing is I'm bringing the internal temperature to 120 degrees.
Okay.
That's my goal.
I think you're going to need to write this down though.
No. It's on a podcast. Just rewind it. So filet on the smoker at about 90 degrees, I give it a flip, but honestly, it doesn't matter. You probably don't have to flip it. I just do it because I'm neurotic and that's the way it has to be because I did it once and I'm like, that's the way it has to be. And then the internal needs to be 120 degrees. Now, once it's 120 degrees, you want to have your cast iron. I use my Blackstone at times if I'm making filet at scale, which is 4 or more. But if it's just 2 fillets, which is what it usually is, you want your cast iron pan ripping hot, not too hot, but hot in the house. So 120 degree little fillets ready to go. I use avocado oil. It has a higher smoke point. You want to put some avocado oil in the cast iron. Let that get nice and hot, you want to drop and you want to sear off your fillets. I still don't add anything else. No other seasonings. I'm going to sear one side for about a minute.
On the meat cooking part?
I'm almost there. It's the most important. If you miss that up, the other parts, it doesn't even matter. You're just assembling things. Then you want to flip your steak. This is important. Someone's going to do it and they're going to go, thank you. I didn't know until I had a bro pull me aside. You're doing it wrong. Let me show you how to do this. 120 degree filet on the cast iron, about a minute. You want to give it a flip. You want to bring it up to whatever your preferred temperature is. I like to hit it at about 130 degrees, pull it off, and then it's going to climb another few degrees to a nice medium rare. 133 to 134 is what I'm after. It's important. And then here's the next step. This is very important. I melt some grass-fed butter in the microwave, get it really, really hot. Then I add a little bit of garlic powder. I'll also at times do some smoked garlic. That's a whole other thing that's fancy.
Smoked versus regular.
Yeah. So a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of black pepper, and you mix it in that hot butter, get it really hot, and then you just basting on top of that freshly seared filet. Mm-hmm. That's going to give you your garlic. That's going to give you your pepper. Mm-hmm. Already has the salt. Already have a nice sear. Now you're going to let that rest for a few minutes.
Okay.
You're going to thinly slice it. If you don't thinly slice it, your sandwich is going to be messed up. Thinly slice that filet. and cut out any like weird pieces or whatever. Set those aside because you don't want that in your sandwich. You can gnaw on that later. You know what I mean? You don't want fat and stuff like that. Fat's good, but not, your sandwich needs to be pure. Every bite needs to be the same. Then what I do is I use a broiler. I like thinly sliced sourdough bread. I will go ahead and put a little bit of butter on the top. I will toast that till it's brown. I'll pull the pan out. Then you want to flip it on the naked side, the raw side that has not been toasted yet. Then you want to put your cheese. There's 2 types of cheese you can use on this sandwich. The first time I used Munster cheese, delicious. The second time I use Gouda. Wow, I think the Gouda...
It was so Gouda.
Is, yeah.
For those that don't watch this on YouTube, I'm literally crying.
I don't know what's so funny about this. I'm trying to help people make the greatest sandwich ever, and they're like, he's almost done. He's already talking too long, and you're interrupting him. Let him finish.
Feel free. I'll catch up with you at the end.
Okay. Toast the bread till it's brown on top. Pull it out, give it the sourdough a little flip. Then you want to put your cheese and put it back. And you're broiling that cheese on there. You're not burning it till it's black, but you want to get a nice toast. Then you've already prepared this in advance before your steak, so I should have started. The secret to this sandwich is the onion. And it's not just any onion. Onion, as some people say. They love to add that G in there. It's not onion, it's onion. Onion.
Onione.
Okay. So a lot of people like to do caramelized, however you want to say it, onions. And they usually use a white or a yellow and they'll chop it.
Right.
What I do is thick slices of red onion, and it's a caramelized red onion.
Delicious.
Listeners, you don't know anything about caramelized red onion because I didn't know it was a thing. Caramelized red onion, you want to get it nice and soft. Okay, so almost done.
Now you build it.
Well, you also want to have your sauce. You want your sauce prepared. It is a chipotle garlic.
Listen,
a chipotle garlic aioli.
But I am what I listen to, and I'm old
you're
now.
Like, it's a magic orange sauce. Like that.
It really is.
It's a garlic chipotle. Okay.
It's amazing.
Yes. So you get a bowl. You get 2 you get a little can of chipotle chilies and adobo sauce, and you get about 2 chilies. You don't want to add the whole can. You're going to overdo it. You just want a little bit of that kick.
What about the juice of the chilies?
Then you want to put, for your cream, your crema, you want to put some mayo. You want to put a little bit of sour cream. You have your peppers. Then you want to put in a 1 little clove of fresh garlic. You could use garlic powder. That's fine. But a clove of fresh garlic. You want to put a bit of lemon juice. You want to put a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of paprika, onion powder if you're feeling a little zesty. Okay. And you can do all that.
More
and then
onion.
I use an immersion blender to blend all that up, and it will make the greatest sauce you've ever. Now we're ready to assemble.
This is what it sounds like in our kitchen. And then it goes like this. Tink, 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 tink.
But now you're ready to assemble your sandwich. So you have your toasted cheesy bread that is amazing, ready to go. You're going to, both sides, don't just one side the sauce, double side the sauce. Then on the bottom piece, you're going to put your...
Mo sauce, mo better.
Then you're going to put your filet.
Or ribeye.
Or actually, here's what I like to do. Put the red onion on first, then the layers of steak, then a little bit of lettuce. And you don't want to use like real floppy lettuce. You want something with some bite, like
a nice bib.
A nice bib or something, whatever. Just put whatever lettuce you want, not iceberg. Get out of here with that.
Gross.
But a little bit of lettuce on top. Then you're going to top it. Then you want to slice that bad boy in half or get a nice little quarter on there and then present it to a person that you love a lot and watch them take a bite and look at you. And they're like, what is going on? Like, what are all these flavors? Because I've never understood all this. And it's amazing. It came to me in a vision.
It did. It came to you in a vision.
Yeah.
And now everyone else has a vision of what it is like to get cooking instructions from you.
That must have been a long vision.
Okay, here's my brain. When you were talking, it wasn't quite Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. It wasn't that, okay? It was more of every video I've ever seen of people roasting like the Ina Gartens and the Martha Stewarts.
Uh-huh.
And that one British lady who said microwave. And when they're like, and when they're like, oh, here's the chive from my kitchen garden, but store-bought is fine. And they're, and next you need the grass-fed butter, and then you need the red onion and blah, blah, blah. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I am married to like this really cool, like fancy cook version.
No, there's nothing fancy. And
listen,
yeah,
you want to get your filet out into the smoker at 130 degrees and then let it roll up to 134 degrees, maybe a little bit here and
120 off the smoker. And then, yeah.
Okay, but here's why I laughed so hard is because one time Joe makes the most amazing, like, how would you describe the chicken you make that we use for burritos and nachos? What would you call that?
Chipotle chicken.
Chipotle chicken.
Yeah.
He makes the most amazing chipotle chicken. He grills it. He marinates it. It's amazing. He chops it up into cubes and we make the kids nachos and Melody gets Chipotle chicken burritos.
Mm-hmm.
And so one night he was very busy and Mel wanted the burritos. So he went to go tell me how he makes the burritos.
That's what I was thinking of this entire time.
Dude, I was having flashbacks to being in the kitchen. We all were crying because then he was like, you put these 2 tortillas on and then you tell them that they're beautiful. And then you put the chicken in the microwave for 17.5 seconds. Take it out, spin it to the left a little bit and turn it back on to 17.5 seconds.
It's important.
But okay. This is what I love about you. You do everything to the absolute excellent degree and you think about every little detail. And so there is no half second or degree difference that is too small for you to evaluate for efficiency and if it makes the best outcome. And that's how intense you are. And you take this into every portion of your life.
Everything.
Including a 10-minute point by point.
Listen. I'm going to start my own cooking show that's just me staring down the barrel of a camera and just neurotically telling you how I make all the different things that I like to make.
Your cookbook would be 300 pages
all day.
And it would be 2 recipes.
Whatever, man. Yeah, it's the detail and then it's the love. Like it is important that you tell the tortillas they're beautiful. Not that I've ever done that because that's crazy. I would never do that. But yeah, but Melody, do you not taste love in burritos or any sandwiches or anything that I make?
Every single one of them is so good.
Love.
Every single one tastes like love.
And every bite is always the same. That is crucial. Ratios, it was probably episode 2 or 3 is ratio.
Yeah.
You don't want to get that's why like when I eat a sandwich and the ratio's off or when people make hockey puck burgers at a party to where it's like a big thick tall patty but the bun overhangs so it's like way too much bun on the first bite and you might miss I want every bite from beginning to end to be the same. So if I make you a sandwich, every bite is going to be delicious beginning to end. The burrito, you don't want all cheese and then a little bit of sour cream and then like no. Perfect mixture.
It ain't no Taco Bell burrito.
We don't do that around here. But
well, I was going to tell a story about
next time.
Miff almost opening an emergency exit, but next time.
Next time. A little
Thanks
cliffhanger.
To your sandwich lesson.
We're getting long.
Hey, but I have no grievances because you make me that delicious food and you obviously go to a lot of work to do it. So
I have not shared any other specific recipe on here, but those sandwiches are so tasty and they're so unique because a steak sandwich is not. Everyone does a chicken sandwich. Everyone does a turkey sandwich. Maybe a ham sandwich. But a good or a burger. But like a good, like an actual steak sandwich with some, like again, that Munster or Gouda, that flavor, and then the sauce. People.
Got love, people.
Come on. The red onion, just stop.
Just
stop. I'm done.
All right, bye.
Just stop.